Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something really exciting. We are going to map out exactly how you can break free from the traditional daily grind and build sustainable long-term wealth. And we're doing it through one specific method, monthly cash flow. I'm thrilled to walk you through this because we're going to look at the exact mechanics of how regular, everyday people are completely transforming their financial futures. We aren't talking about overnight miracles here. We're talking about a proven, step-by-step guide for building wealth that flows right in your bank account whether you clock in for work or not.
Think of this explainer as your personal wealth-building blueprint. We're going to quickly cover the monthly cash flow, how dividends actually work, the math of passive income, your step-by-step wealth blueprint, and wrap up with the crucial mistakes to avoid. Let's dive right in.
All right, part one, the monthly cash flow. This is the absolute foundation of everything we're building today. It's all about flipping the script from working for a paycheck to having your assets pay you.
Seriously, I want you to take a second and imagine something. What if your bank account just got paid every single month, completely automatically, whether you work that month or not? Imagine a life with no boss, no alarm clock, no endless grinding just trying to survive until the weekend. Imagine a scenario where your baseline expenses are simply covered by the systems you've built. It sounds like a total fantasy, right? But the reality is actually grounded in some very simple math.
Now, this isn't some pipe dream. Millions of everyday people are actually doing this right now. It's called living on dividends. And in this explainer, I'm going to show you exactly how to get started, even if you are starting from absolute zero today. Because once this clicks for you, it completely changes how you think about money forever. You stop seeing a dollar as just something to spend, and you start seeing it as a little worker you can employ to generate even more cash flow for you.
Moving on to part two, how dividends actually work. Because before we actually construct this portfolio, we really need to understand the mechanics of the engine that's going to generate your monthly cash flow.
So, what is a dividend? Well, when you buy shares in massive, incredibly profitable global companies, household names like Coca-Cola or Johnson & Johnson, they generate a ton of profit. But instead of just hoarding all that cash, they share a piece of it directly with you, the shareholder. That payment is your dividend. You literally get paid simply because you own the stock.
The math behind this requires a total paradigm shift. Most of these companies pay out quarterly, though some actually send you a check every single month. Let's look at a super simple example. Say you own 1,000 shares of a stock that pays $1 per share every year in dividends. Boom, you collect $1,000 annually. But here is the absolute magic part. You never even have to sell the asset. It's still yours. The company keeps running, and that income just keeps flowing into your account as long as you hold those shares.
Okay, part three, the math of passive income. Let's transition from the theory into the actual hard numbers, because living on dividends isn't magic. It's a highly solvable mathematical equation.
People always ask, how much money do I actually need invested to pull this off? Well, if you divide your target annual expenses by a super realistic 4% dividend yield, the math becomes crystal clear. Need $30,000 a year? That takes a $750,000 portfolio. Scaling up to an $80,000 lifestyle? You're looking at a $2 million portfolio. Since a solid dividend portfolio typically yields somewhere between 3 to 5% per year, using 4% as your baseline is a fantastic way to calculate your ultimate goal.
Look, I know seeing those millions up there can sound incredibly intimidating, but here's the secret that changes the game. You don't need to get there all at once. You build this incrementally. Let's scale it down. A $100,000 portfolio at a 4% yield makes you $4,000 a year. That breaks down to $333 of tangible, reliable monthly cash flow. That $333 could cover your groceries, a car payment, or a massive chunk of your utility bills. Every single dollar of passive income you build is a dollar your own labor no longer has to cover.
So where do you actually park your money to get that yield? A smart setup blends four main vehicles depending on your age and your goals. First up, you have individual dividend stocks, specifically things called Dividend Aristocrats, which are companies that have reliably grown their payouts for over 25 years. Next, you have dividend ETFs like SCHD or VYM. These give you instant diversification across dozens of companies, acting as the absolute perfect starting point for beginners so you don't get overwhelmed. Third are REITs, or real estate investment trusts, which legally have to pay out at least 90% of their taxable income as dividends, often giving you yields of 4 to 7%. And finally, high-yield income funds, like covered call ETFs. These can push yields up to 8 to 12%, though they generally offer less potential for actual stock price growth.
All right, let's jump into part four, the step-by-step wealth blueprint. This is the absolute core of our explainer today.
Let's outline the definitive roadmap to taking action. You can follow these exact 5 steps, whether you're starting out with $500 or $50,000. Step 1. Open a brokerage account. And hey, if you have tax-sheltered options like an IRA, TFSA, or 401k, use them first so your dividends compound completely tax-free. Step 2. Don't overthink it. Just start with a broad dividend ETF. Getting your money working today is way more important than being absolutely perfect. Step 3. Automate your contributions. Set up a transfer on payday, even if it's just $100. Consistency beats market timing every single time. Step 4 is crucial, reinvesting those dividends, which we'll look at in just a second. And step 5, as your portfolio grows, gradually diversify into different sectors like utilities or healthcare to protect yourself.
Let's zoom in on step 4, because this is your secret weapon, the compound snowball. By setting up a DRIP, or dividend reinvestment plan, you aren't taking your dividend payments as cash right now. Instead, the system automatically uses them to buy more shares. Those new shares then produce even more dividends, which buy even more shares. It literally snowballs, compounding your wealth faster than almost anything else in personal finance.
Time is genuinely your biggest variable here. Listen to this. A 25-year-old who invests just $500 a month at a 7% total return, which includes dividends plus growth, will have over $600,000 by age 55. Seriously, that is life-changing money generated from a remarkably modest monthly commitment. The math works, you just got to give it the runway to take off.
Finally, Part 5. Crucial mistakes to avoid. Now that you've got the blueprint, let's put up some necessary guardrails so you don't accidentally sabotage your own long-term success. Your very first line of defense is simple. Do not fall into the trap of chasing massive yields. If you see a stock flashing a 15% dividend yield, that is almost always a glaring red flag, not a gift. Unsustainably high yields usually mean the stock price is already tanking and a massive dividend cut is right around the corner. You want to focus on reliable, steady dividend growth, not just the size of the yield today. Also, don't forget diversification. Owning 5 stocks in the exact same sector isn't a portfolio, it's a huge risk.
But honestly, the single biggest mistake people make is just giving up way too early. In those early years, your passive income is going to look tiny. We're talking $20 a month, maybe $50 a month. It can feel kind of pointless when you're just starting out. But you absolutely have to stay the course. Compounding happens incredibly slowly at first, and then, all of a sudden, it explodes. You have to wait until that compounding curve bends upward. Don't be the person who quits right before the magic happens.
Which brings us to a really crucial realization. Living on dividends is absolutely not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a highly proven, get-wealthy-eventually plan that has worked for millions of people across generations. You start small, you stay insanely consistent, you reinvest everything you possibly can, and slowly, year by year, your money starts working far harder than you do.
The question isn't whether this math works. It definitively does. So the only question left is, when do you start? Whether your ultimate goal is to generate $500 a month to cover your car payment or $5,000 a month in pure cash flow to replace your salary entirely, you need to define your number today. Make it real in your mind. What exactly is your dividend income goal? And honestly, what is stopping you from taking that very first step right now?